Hello, everyone. Welcome for being here. It's Antonio Fajardo Mora. I currently serve as the administrative assistant for the Community Health Worker Coalition for Migrants and Refugees, and you're listening to Voces Unidas by Los Originales Radio. Remember that you can follow us on our social media such as LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, as well as other platforms. I am so grateful that you are all taking the time to be here today. Without further ado, we have a very special guest today during our show, somebody who we have been working with closely over the last few months in our programs that we've done. And so without further ado, I'd like to formally present our invited guest for today's radio show, Tuere Cunningham. Tuere, how are you today?
I'm doing really well. It's good to be up here, Antonio. I'm glad to be here, so I'm happy.
I feel the same. I'm glad that we are able to interview you and have you here with us today. Um, this is going to be a very good show because I know that we're going to talk a lot about Tuere and the work that she's done, not only for us as a coalition, but the work that she's done outside of the organization as well as previously. So I guess my question for you today, Tuere, can you tell us a little bit about yourself for the people who are watching?
Yeah, of course. Hi, everybody. I'm Tori Cunningham. Um, I was born in Washington, D.C. I came here to Washington State about 15 to 16 years ago with my family. Been here ever since. And I'm a recent graduate from Washington State University. Graduated with magna cum laude. I had with a bachelor's in art, of course. I majored in design and minored in business administration. And currently, which connects me with work with CHW, is I work as a freelance and contract graphic designer. So, yeah, just a little bit about me.
You do a lot of things. Say is Goku. For those of you who don't know, also went to Washington State University. Tuere and I found out when I first met her, we went to school at the same time, and we just never ran into each other until we started working with a few months ago. And I think that's super how we were literally on the same campus and we didn't know each other. But that is super cool. Thank you for telling us about the things that what you majored in. I know that um, college can be very cool, especially for like lots of people. Um, for me, kind of like hard sometimes, especially balancing all you do, especially
Yeah.
with you who has to balance your obligations, school obligation, and also the other things that you do. So I applaud you for receiving those degrees. And it's paving the way for lots of people. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
So, Tuere, I guess what I want to ask you, mentioned you've been working with us on, I think, a few programs now over the past few months.
Mhm.
Uh, I wanted to ask you for you first get involved with us for the viewers who don't know with us as a coalition. How did you get in contact with us and start working with us and designing some things for us?
Yeah, so I originally got introduced with you guys through my family. My mom and my siblings both went to a networking event that you guys held, and they met with you guys. And my mom has known you guys for a good amount of time, and basically that's how I first got introduced to Dr. Eliana. And once she learned about my skills within design, she asked if I could be brought on for the Friends for Life campaign, which I'll talk about in a bit, I'm sure. Um, and that was kind of how I got introduced. And I was so inspired by like all that Dr. Ileana has done within this organization and within the community. So it was just really exciting to get like the opportunity to be brought on as a graphic designer and be able to bring visual identity to the work that she does. So yeah, that's
for sharing. Yeah, Tuere has done an amazing job working with us, beside us. The work that she's done is really great. I feel like it's kind of like fate, you know. You came to that networking event, like with your family, and now you got connected with us, Doctora Ponce, and now we're here interviewing you. What has it been? I've been at the coalition for 3.5 months, so it's been like what, 2 months is since you started working
Yeah.
alongside us. Is that correct? Do you think?
Yeah, about 2 months. I think it's been about 2 months.
Yeah, it's been like about 2 months, and it's been really great working beside Tuere. She's so professional, and she's always like contacting, Doctora Ponce and me, making sure that she's doing things like correctly. She's always checking in. We really appreciate, because it shows that she really cares about, not only does her work, but she does it very well. So yeah, she's just an amazing job. Tuere, I kind of want to take a bit to get into more of the things that you designed for the Friends for Life program. Since I was the coordinator for this program, I contacted you a lot, was in communication with you. I would love to share the designs that you have created for the viewers to see, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, that's of course. Go ahead, Free.
Okay. Right now we have this one, getting naloxone. Actually, the Friends for Life project was a project that Tuere on with us. This was, how would I call it, like a project for the coalition out.
Mhm.
Um, so as you can see, it a phenomenal on making sure they really captured the vibe and the aesthetic that we was going for, but Doctora Ponce was going for. To sharing a little bit about like the process of creating these ones for friends.
Yeah. So basically, how I came like how my process was for this was kind of the focus on some of the meanings within CHW, the tie into this work. So I noticed that a lot of the meaning behind CHW is like helping hands and community, helping each other. So that's kind of a lot of where a lot of my inspiration came from. I decided to create like these friendly hands that like are there for each other. And I came across this project as a way of being like friendly and uplifting when getting this piece of information across to people, and to get this kind of education on what is fentanyl, what is naloxone or Narcan, and then how to help our community around us. So yeah, this is kind of it was kind of this was amazing project to like dive into, and it was a learning curve at first for sure, but I feel like I drew out like the meaning that kind of fell within each of these categories, and drew light on like community, and I feel like that was like a major pinpoint for the project, and for the meaning behind CHW within this project. So yeah, um, it took a bit of time, but I feel like it came out really well, and hopefully it brought some smiles to people's faces when they read this information. So yeah.
Oh, definitely. For me, you like you started us. For me, it was like my first program, so we were both in the, and it
Mhm.
was like that. So, uh, experience for the both of us, I can think, and I expected something good when I met you. I was like, oh, to design things for this program. I expected something good, obviously, but when you sent that, it really blew me out of the water, because I was like, wow, like she is making this art. You capture the essence of what we were looking for exactly. The and as y'all can see, those of you who are watching from home, it's just like the vibrancy of the way that it's like artistic, but also has there. You did a great job. Exactly what the program was trying to
Thank
people.
you.
And very
Thank
for that. It's gonna be a little pause during today's radio show, because she's just done an amazing, only just starting out working alongside us at the coalition. So this is really thank you for the work that you've done for Friends for Life. I know that it's definitely impact for lots of the people
you.
who were a part of this, who are watching that we provided for them. So I appreciate the work that you've done up until.
Thank you. I'm glad I got the opportunity. This was amazing for me too, getting to work alongside you guys. I got to learn so much, so I treasured this experience truly. So, yeah, I appreciate you guys for this.
So great to hear. Thank you so much. There's definitely a lot of future that we're all going to do together, and I'm excited to
Mhm.
see where things go.
Me
But
too.
those graphics she created for us later on in this radio show, we're going to be um, kind of plugging like her website and things like that, where you can find her if you're interested in working along, having her work alongside you for any projects that you might have in mind. But now that we got to see those graphics, I kind of want to ask you to edit. What inspired you to do this kind of work that you do? What was something that, it doesn't have to be something specific, but how did you get into this kind of field of work that's like designing all these things? If you care to explain a little bit about that.
Yeah, of course. I It's actually pretty interesting. I've always had the desire to impact communities around me, and that kind of stemmed from like my mom putting like inspired me at a young age to do that. So originally I wanted to be an animator. I saw Spider-Man through the Spider-Verse and I was like, yes, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna tell this story. I'm gonna like be able to inspire people through storytelling in this way. And that was before I actually knew that design itself was also visual storytelling. I kind of put that in the category of, oh, it's just for business. It's just marketing. It's this serious thing. It's not like um, it's not that open for like storytelling and everything like that. And once I went to Washington State University, that's kind of where I finally learned that like, hey, graphic design is also visual storytelling. There's like a lot more that goes into it, and graphic design is it encompasses a lot of things. A lot of people think that graphic design falls just within like marketing, and it's more than that. It's a lot more than that. So I that is kind of when I finally got inspired to be like, hey, I can use graphic design, my skills within graphics design to actually inspire the community around me and be that change that I once thought that I wanted to be. Well, I still want to be when I was younger, and I still do want to now. But like this gives me an actual full outlet and the ability to be able to like use the skills that I have right now to be able to make that happen. So that is kind of how I got first introduced and inspired to be a graphic designer, and that's still the case now. I want to be able to like impact the communities around me through my design. I want to see people smile when they see the stuff that I create. So yeah, that's kind of how I got introduced and all that stuff.
That's to hear. That's very, and I'm happy that you said that. What you mentioned about how you're sharing your art, you're also using a way to communities, for example, like with your work for the Friends for Life program, educating communities through your art about this important topic that oftentimes
Exactly.
goes, it's not talked about as often. So I'm grateful that you're not just sharing, it's like visual story in a way.
Mhm.
You're
Yep.
sharing information with other people in a way. And it's great to see you're so passionate about that, not just creating art, but using it to really create an I I really like that a lot. I find that lots of artists, I think they do, help other people through their art.
Mhm.
Amazing to do. Tuere, I was wondering,
Mhm.
you have from what you remember, is this the first project that you did, that you worked on, that really paved the way for the rest of the work that you've done? If you don't worry about if just like the first time that you're creating these graphic designs for a project just for yourself, and that due to what you do.
Um, I'm trying to think. I have to think about that for a bit. That's
Oh,
a
no
really good
worries. It's fine.
question, Antonio. Um, so I think okay, I think I can remember. The first project was actually not entirely graphic design. It was kind of illustration, and it was for something from my mom. She has a nonprofit, and I did a bus wrap. Actually, I created a bus wrap I have art on a bus somewhere. um, so that was an amazing opportunity, and that was kind of the piece itself was focused around like the community of Aberdeen. And it pictured like a few kids playing in a park with different toys, and it was supposed to be like representation of like getting resources, especially the youth, within a community and having that like community feel. And I created that little piece, and I like to think that it still falls under graphic design a little bit. And I think that was the first real one. That was back in 2018, I think, or 2019. So that was before I even graduated high school.
That is
um,
crazy
yeah,
to me. I feel like that's a giant project to start off with. A bus
yeah,
route? That is
yes.
crazy.
It's unique indeed. So that was just it was an amazing opportunity. And I feel like I've just grown from there, and I continue to like develop in my skills within graphic design. I still do art from time to time. So that was kind of my starting point, and it's funny because the starting point was still based around like community building and all of that stuff. So it's good to see that like I'm still doing that like even today. So yeah, yeah. I'm glad you brought that up because that just made me happy. I didn't even think about that till now.
But yeah, of course. I'm always interested in hearing like the work that people do, and the fact that I just going back to like that your first project was a bus wrap, like that is insane to me. The fact that it was like on a bus and stuff like that, that's crazy. And you're right that you've been able to help communities through the work that you've done. I feel like, to be honest, like even if I tried, like I don't think maybe years and years and years down the line, I maybe I could be on the same level as you. I'm the type who like I create canvas and stuff like that, and I'm like graphic design is my passion, and it's like a little like Canva design that's like already like a template and stuff like that. But you're making these like in your head, and you're like. She when Tuere was working with us at the coalition, she would send us drafts of like sketches that she would make of like the designs that she was working on, and it's all comes from her from like inside her head, and it's just like I wish I had like that creativity, to be able to do the work that you do. It really is impressive.
I think that like I think that anyone can create graphic design. Even yes, even you working with just Canva. Like I feel like I started off with that as well when I started doing flyers and everything. I started off with Canva, and I think that is still graphic design. You're still creating something. You're just using stuff that's from different things. And even now, that's kind of what I do. I'll create mood boards. I have tons and tons of Pinterest boards now. After the many years of trying to find inspiration, so as a graphic designer, you're never really creating in like a silo or well, a silo of sorts. You're not just creating from just your brain. It's kind of like you're drawing off of like many different things that you find inspirational or anything like that. So like even you with using Canva is still creating. And from time to time, I'll even like I'll go to stores and I'll be like, oh, there's a package on some kind of like product, and I'll take a picture of it and save it for later. So um it's you draw off of different things. It's yeah, I still think you're a graphic designer from that. Anyone else?
I'll
Because
get there. Hopefully
yeah.
one day I'll be on your level too. And if for now, it's like I'll I gotta practice a little bit more to get to where you are, but hopefully I can do it one day.
You got this.
Thank you so much for the support. I want to ask, moving on to more questions about you, Tuere. I don't know if there's anything that you consider to be your style in your design work. I know that in the work that you've done with, like I mentioned, for Friends for Life, it was simplistic, it was colorful, and things like that. Do you have something that you consider to be like your personal style when you're creating art, or is it more of depending on the project, you do it in different ways, if that makes sense?
Yeah, that makes complete sense. I feel like when it comes to a specific style, I might not have such a really strong style, but I do have some consistencies. Like you mentioned before, I have the like for the Friends for Life campaign, I have like the friendly kind of colorful style to that, and I kind of feel like that's kind of a little bit consistent. In the work that I've done in the past, and even things like personal projects I've done for myself. But that's just me. I think that like getting ideas across in like a very lighthearted and friendly way, especially with like heavy text, heavy like information, is easier. And it's easier to allow people to kind of interpret and take information from that piece that they see as important for themselves rather than just like putting it all on people and be like, this is the way. I always want people to be able to like look at design works and be like, hey, this is what I believe to be my truth from this, and still be able to get knowledge and information from it. So that's kind of how I saw that. Other than that, I don't have a specific style. I like I said before, tons and tons of Pinterest boards. I think I take inspiration from a ton of things. And I create mood boards a lot, and that's kind of how I adjust my styles to kind of fit the needs of different people who need me to do work, design work. So yeah, so I can easily like adapt my style at least. Um, so yeah.
I feel like that's important, especially for like the work that you do working with different organizations, you know. Every organization has like a different style, and even within those like organizations there's also different projects that have different styles. So it's nice to know that you have that like versatility and adaptability to be able to do different things for different projects. For example, right now, Tuere is actually working on helping us with our oral health program, and she's coming up with a project for that, and she was showing me and Dr. Ponce a few weeks ago. I think actually like yeah, a few weeks ago, a bit ago, about like a rough draft of what she was thinking of, and she was asking like, what style do you think you would like? And it was like, I think it was like a cleaner style, right, to it, and like a
Yeah.
sketch style, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, and she was like showing us things like that and being like, is there a preference? So Tueta definitely has shown that she has different, how do I say this, she has the ability to do her art in different ways, and I think that's really great. And it's something that maybe I'm not very experienced in the world of graphic design, but I think it might be something that not everybody can do. You know, some people have a particular style, and the good thing about you is that you're able to do so many projects because you don't just have just one style. You can change yours to fit the project that you're working on, and I think that's a really great attribute to
Yeah.
have. You know?
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. I do agree. Like, it definitely does help. It allows me to be able to dive into different like skill sets. I can do art, I do design, I do videography sometimes, video editing and stuff like that. So yeah, it's opened a lot of doors for me. So yeah, I do see that.
Yeah. And with your art, is there anything like specific? You don't have to name it specifically. Anything that influences like the work that you do in terms of like for me, sometimes when I do art, like on my free time, I like to look up like particular artists just on social media and things like that whose art really speaks to me. Is there anyone, you don't have to name them specifically if you can't off the top of your head, but is there times that you find yourself, like you mentioned on Pinterest, looking up like particular art that you're interested in that helps you gain like influence in your work?
Um, I have to think about that for a bit.
No
I
worries.
don't think I have like any specific artists. I used to have one on like Instagram, but now I can't remember their name. And it was like an artist that talked about like everyday life, and they created these like um kind of watercolor digital comics sort of that talked about everyday life, and I thought they were just really wholesome, so I would take like some inspiration from that from time to time. It's been a bit on that part, but other than that, it's just a lot of different things from a variety of different people, because I always love like the different perspective. Everybody has a different way of like drawing things or the way they see different things, so it's always fun to see that. And even if it's like drawing the one same thing, you will always have like different people. If there are a ton of people that draw it, it's different every time. So it's easy to get like a variety of perspective in that sense. Like I said, I love Pinterest, so I do see that like a ton when I do look through like a lot of the mood boards that I have, and even new art that's up there. So I do take from like a variety of different people. When it comes to design, I love like Airbnb's design. They have a heavy focus within like community, creating community around like housing and sharing housing and all of that within their like business and branding design. So I did take inspiration from that for a good amount of time, especially with their integration with their logos and everything like that. So I'll take inspiration from like some current businesses as well. It's very rare, but I do sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong. You mentioned the Airbnb. They did just change, like, I think I saw somewhere they did change like their art a little bit recently, right?
Oh yes, they
They
did. They did.
It was really impressive. For those of you who haven't seen, I highly recommend seeing the way that Airbnb changed their art because I do see what you mean to it. The way that like they design things, I feel like it definitely speaks like your vibe in your work. So thank you for sharing like that personal one. I appreciate it, and it's really great to see. I'm also an avid user of Pinterest. I'm always going on there for inspiration. So I completely agree with you about like what you said about creating mood boards and things like that, and really taking inspiration from not just one person specifically, but lots of different people. I feel like
Mhm.
that's great in making sure that your art is always like there's always something new and refreshing with your art because you always have a different art style that you can go off of and be like this looks like something I want to attempt, or this is something that maybe in the future I'm going to want to make my art in that way, I feel like
Yes,
that's great.
exactly.
Tuere, I was wondering if you're okay for now to go to some educational messages and PSAs. Take a little break for the viewers to watch these informational videos, and then we'll come back to continue the interview. Does that
Yeah,
sound
of course. I'm all set for that. Thank you.
okay? We'll see you in a bit then, Tuere.
¿Sabías que puedes salvar una vida sin miedo a represalias? La ley del buen samaritano protege a quienes ayudan en una emergencia por sobredosis. La naloxona puede revertir una sobredosis rápidamente. Si tienes acceso a ella, úsala sin miedo. La ley te protege. Si ves a alguien en peligro por una sobredosis, llama al 911. Esta ley garantiza que no serás arrestado por posesión de drogas al pedir ayuda. Salvar una vida es más importante que cualquier temor. Conoce tus derechos y actúa. La ley del buen samaritano está aquí para ayudar. Comparte este mensaje. Juntos podemos marcar la diferencia.
Washington enfrenta una crisis de opioides sin precedentes. Cada día, más personas están perdiendo la vida debido al aumento de sobredosis. Las muertes por sobredosis han aumentado un 50% en los últimos años. El fentanilo, un opioide sintético, es el principal responsable. Esta crisis afecta a todos en nuestra comunidad, ya sea a los jóvenes, adultos y familias. La falta de tratamiento a este problema agrava la situación. La naloxona puede salvar vidas al prevenir una sobredosis, y el estado de Washington ha ampliado su distribución gratuita. Si conoces a alguien en riesgo, busca ayuda. Juntos podemos enfrentar esta crisis.
Cada día, miles de personas mueren por sobredosis de opioides. Pero hay una herramienta simple que puede marcar la diferencia entre la vida y la muerte. La naloxona.
Así es, también conocida como Narcan, es un medicamento seguro que revierte los efectos de una sobredosis de opioides. Cualquiera puede llevarla y usarla.
Tener la naloxona a la mano no significa que apruebas el uso de drogas. Significa que estás listo para salvar una vida. Puede ser un amigo, un familiar, un compañero de trabajo, incluso a un desconocido.
¿Ves a alguien con respiración lenta, labios azules o inconsciente? Actúa rápido, llama al 911 y administra la naloxona si la tienes a mano.
Infórmate. Lleva naloxona contigo. Juntos podemos prevenir más muertes por sobredosis.
This program is brought to you by Community Health Worker Coalition for Migrants and Refugees, in collaboration with the Friends for Life.
All right, welcome back, everybody. A little applause. Thank you everyone for being here. You're listening to Voces Unidas, a part of Los Originales from the Community Health Worker Coalition for Migrants and Refugees. My name is Antonio Fajardo Mora. I am your host today, and today we're interviewing our special guest, Tuere Cunningham, about the work that she does, not only for the coalition as a whole, but also work that she does in design, in illustration, in other projects in her life. So, Tuere, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that little break between segments while we watch those informational videos. Are you ready for some more interview questions?
Yeah, I'm all set. Let's do it.
Perfect. Thank you. Well, I guess before the questions, I kind of want to have the viewers look at your portfolio website so they can get a general idea of what your design looks like a little bit more. So as you can see on the screen right now, this is Tuere's websites where she posts all of her projects and things like that that she's worked on. So as you can see, she has a lot of work. Tuere, do you want to talk a little bit about your website and what you have on there so that the viewers know?
Yeah, of course. This is a website from Wix. It took a bit of time, but I designed it from scratch. It holds a lot of the projects that I've done from my time at Wazoo, and also from my time working with some organizations at Wazoo. And then also, as you can see here, a lot of work that I've just done for fun, and for like inspiration for myself and like for those around me, and things that just make me happy. So like I draw sometimes, and I'll put that into some of my work. So yeah, that's kind of, it encompasses that. You have a little bit of in like my introduction and everything on the website. You can see a lot of my personal work. And then also I have a contact page as well, if you want to contact me through the website. But yeah, I'm still adding more. There's a lot more that still needs to be added. I'm doing a lot of work like with the work with CHW. I'm also doing some work with working on a youth entrepreneurship curriculum, which is actually really cool. I'm actually creating like little animated videos for them, starring like a little character that kind of talks about different aspects. So it's a free curriculum. And it kind of encompasses each unit. So that's what I'm currently working on. And once that's done, it'll be up there so people can see it, along with some of CHW's work that I've done currently. It'll be up there in a bit too. So yeah.
This is really impressive, and I feel like lots of people would love to have like a website like this where they can post their project. As you can see, Tuere is, like we mentioned, very versatile in the work that she does. You could see previously from the sketches that she created on the website. So this is amazing, and it's nice to know that you still have like projects that you're working on right now, and everything like that. Let me take this time to share where you can find her website. If you look it up, it's tuerecunningham.wixstudio.com/tcreates. This is really impressive. As you can see, Tuere is not a one-trick pony. She can do it all. She can do all of these different designs, and that's really impressive to see.
Yes, I have a bit of like animation, videography up there as well. So yeah, it's a lot of diverse things. I encourage people to explore my website and look through things, see what you like. So yeah, I've been graced to like have all of these experiences. So I'm glad I get to share it out. And I designed the website to kind of encompass my own brand identity. So you'll see that in the colors, you'll see that in my logo design, you'll see at the top. All of it kind of encompasses what I've created for myself. So yeah, I'm glad I get to share this out. This is an amazing opportunity.
No, yeah, of course, and I'm sure a lot of the viewers at home are also really impressed being able to see this, and I'm sure that people will reach out to you if they need any projects done. This is fantastic. Tuere, I wanted to say, oh yeah, I also forgot to mention that if you'd like a way that's easier to access her portfolio and her website, feel free to connect with Tuere on LinkedIn at Tuere C. That's how you can find her. Just type in Tuere C in the search bar and you'll be able to see her art and reach out to her for any projects that you might be interested in having her help work with. But this is beyond impressive. I feel like I'm just awestruck just seeing all of the work that you've done. And for somebody as young as you to have such an impressive portfolio already, this is fantastic. Thank you so much for allowing us to share this with our viewers.
Yeah, thank you for sharing it. This is amazing. Like, yeah, I really appreciate this.
Of course. I wanted to move on to ask you, Tuere, what
Mhm.
has it been like? You've mentioned it a little bit before, but I want to learn more about what it's been like to work on projects that focus on, for example, health, community, and education. Like what we mentioned before, for Friends for Life, it was educating people about naloxone. You're working with us about for oral health, which is educating people on maintaining, good oral health, making sure that they're like drinking more water and things like that. And the other projects that you've mentioned, the videography that you've done, the illustrations. I keep going back to the bus that you created, the design that you created for that, and also what you mentioned, the current projects that you're doing. Lots of it, like you mentioned, is very much community based and educating and informing and helping out people probably across the can I say like across the US, across the world kind of, because I feel like lots of people are able to see your designs. What has it been like working on these projects that focus, on health, community, and educating other people about different topics?
Yeah, that's a good question. I it's well, it's been a sort of learning curve, especially with like well, I've done work with community and everything in education before, but work around health and everything, that was kind of new. So it was a learning curve, but yes, I have done some work before with like around education and like you mentioned community, especially with the bus wrap and everything outside of work that I've done with CHW. I've done some work with the Native American program on the Washington State University campus when I was a student there, and that was kind of a little bit based around some education because I was updating their website on WordPress to like the current layout and structure. So I think it's specifically around like health and everything. That's definitely like a new learning curve, but it's been really amazing. It's been an amazing experience. I love getting to learn how I can structure visual storytelling to like new audiences. So the learning curve has allowed me to be able to do more per se. So I feel like even my work that I mentioned with like the youth entrepreneurship program curriculum thing was kind of drawn off of some of the things that I've learned from like help working with you guys, working with CHW around like things around health and everything. So I feel like I've learned a lot from this experience and from what my work working within education and community and health. So yeah, it's been amazing. I would say it's been. I always love a learning experience. I treasure education a ton, so I always want to keep learning. So this has been perfect.
No, yeah, I'm so grateful that you shared that because it really is true. Every project that you work on helps you build better for future projects. Like you said,
Exactly.
you
Yeah.
use what you learned working with us with the Friends for Life program for that youth entrepreneurship program, the work that you do there. It's every new project is an opportunity for you to learn new things and to improve the work that you do. And that's really nice to hear that you're still, even now, learning new things and improving your art. There's always room for improvement. So it's gonna be really great to see how you keep improving as time goes on.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I'm hoping I just keep learning. I just keep getting better that way. So yeah, I really want to like go through all of the process of learning everything within design, even things outside of it, because you never know what can fall within design. Because I never thought that like learning specifically about how fentanyl is and how to use naloxone, because I never learned that before this campaign work, which has been amazing. So I like treasure that information. I see that as like really important because I never know who I'll know and who might need some help. So like this is, yeah, you never know what education you'll get can be used later in different areas of your life. So yeah.
Right. And I feel like what we said, what you've mentioned also about the Friends for Life program is about how like it's a lot of information to take in. And I feel like your designs and your art were able to help convey our message across in a very simple way that people can understand. And I feel like that's really great to be able to achieve in art. You know, I feel like for me when I make like designs, I always put like a whole bunch of text because it's hard for me to portray things visually, and you don't have to do that. Like you put a lots of effort into making sure that you spread the message across in a very like simple way, straightforward way that's still very informative. And I think that's something that's very great to be able to see, being able to educate these communities about these topics that are sometimes heavy in a simple way, a straightforward way.
Hmm. I think that is a very personally what I've learned so far is like it is very crucial when it comes to visual storytelling to be able to grasp people's attention through those visual elements and then breaking things down in a way that people can take from that, like pick from the plate per se to choose what they're able to like digest and like understand well. So I kind of put that into a lot of the things that I create now. And before I it was definitely a learning like process. 3 years ago, I probably didn't know as much like this process as much back then at all. So it takes a bit of time, but I as I grow and learn, I try to keep up with the knowledge that I know to use it within each project. So yeah,
You're absorbing all that information from all these different projects and making it your own for the
exactly.
future. I was wondering, Tuere, is there something that you hope that people feel or take away when they see your designs, whether it be the videography, graphic designs you've created, things like that? Is there something that you hope people feel or take away from those?
I think I would probably want people to take away like I don't know, this is very broad, but like inspiration. I want to inspire people and in a way that allows them to either like feel better about themselves, feel joy, feel happiness, or like want to impact their community. So they step away from seeing maybe a design or video and be like, hey, I can do this, I can make this change. I can make this happen for myself. I can make this happen for my family, my friends. So I really want that to be like a takeaway from my designs, and that's something I've been trying to build up to and make happen. So
You heard it here first, everybody. So it is inspiring the future generation of graphic designers to be able to do work. And that's really nice to hear, you know. You're inspiring people, especially because of your website, you know. Anybody can go to your website and be able to see and be like, I want to do that, you know, especially the viewers from home. Who knows? Maybe there's somebody watching from home who's interested in getting into this, but they're a little nervous about it. Now they can go to your website or they can connect with you and they can be like, wow, like if she can do it, I can also do it, you know. It's nice to hear, especially because it's your experience with like designing and things like that is fairly recent, right? You mentioned it was when the Spider-Man movie came out that you were really starting to get the ball rolling, you know. So
yeah.
it's definitely somebody, you know, somebody is gonna feel inspired by the work that you do, and they're gonna think that I can do the same thing. And you know, you're inspiring people without even knowing it. And I think
I'm
that's
glad.
really, really heartwarming, you know?
Yeah, that makes me so happy. Like I'm glad.
Yeah. Well, moving on to another question that I have. How does your identity or your background? You said that you were born in Washington D.C. You currently live in Aberdeen. You mentioned, right? Is that
Mhm.
correct? How does your identity or your background shape the work or the art you make? Are there any like particular influences that you have from like maybe it's growing up, your upbringing, or anything like that that influence you in the art that you make?
I would say yes. The reason why I so badly want to like impact the community and people around me is probably because like in the past when I was younger, I wasn't like I said, I wasn't here, I wasn't in Washington. In my youth, I was born in DC. I've been like to Virginia and all of that stuff, moving around a ton. But I didn't have like the best youth. I had some issues with my biological father. That was a whole thing. Um and I after coming here, like I struggled a ton. I was in like middle school. I struggled a lot mentally. But the thing is, I had my family there for me, and they were always uplifting me. My mom always said, "Hey, Tori, you can do any and everything you put your mind to." That is like I still remember that. She still says that to this day. Um, and I know that like without that, I wouldn't be in the place that I am today. I would not be this cheerful person that I am today. So I realized that I had that, but not a lot of other people did. And maybe that's kind of like what draws into the reason why I want to create things that are inspirational for people. And to allow people to like know that there are resources there, or people that don't have access or know about certain resources that can like learn about it through the designs that I make or through the campaigns that I help with. Because I know that like not a lot of people have access to like the people there to be like, hey, you can do anything and everything you put your mind to. This is possible for you too. So I don't know. I feel like that kind of stems from it. I want my work to be able to do that and be that for people, because I know that not a lot of people had that, and I I wouldn't be where I am if I did not have that support from my family. So yeah, that's hopefully that makes sense. But like that's
Does.
kind of
It makes a lot of sense. I feel like the first thing I want to say is shout out to your family. Shout out to Tanika if you're watching this. You have an amazing daughter who does amazing work. So shout out to you for supporting her. And shout out to your family, Tuere, for being able to really motivate you to do the work that you do now. Because now you're not just making art for yourself, you're making art for the community. And I feel like that's amazing. So thank you so much for taking the time to share that with me and with the viewers who are watching from home. It's really great to hear about how somebody first started out, in their art. Uh, so I was wondering, so Tuere, sorry, this is
You're
just
good.
it's really great to hear about, all the work that you do, and your family, they still support you and they still keep up with like all of your art and your designs, right? I'm sure they do.
Yeah, they're always cheering for me. They're always cheering for my design work, wanting to see what I've done. So like I love that. I have a great family. I have a great mom. I have great siblings. I'm so blessed for that.
Shout out to all of them. Shout out if you're watching, to his family. You did an amazing job supporting her and everything like that. We're so grateful to be able to work with you, Tuere.
Mhm.
Um, before we end off the radio, we're going to go to some more informational PSAs. Does that sound good to you? And then we can come back and finish up some last few questions, and you can share anything that you want with the viewers before we end off. Does that sound good?
Yeah. Yeah, that works for me. Thank you.
Of course. We'll see you in a bit.
Yep.
¿Por qué es tan importante la salud mental en la comunidad LGBTQI+? Las personas LGBTQ+, enfrentan desafíos únicos que pueden afectar su salud mental, tales como discriminación y estigma social, rechazo familiar o comunitario, violencia verbal o física, falta de acceso a servicios inclusivos. Estos factores pueden aumentar el riesgo de ansiedad, depresión, aislamiento y pensamientos suicidas. ¿Cuál es el poder de los grupos de apoyo y por qué son tan importantes? Los grupos de apoyo ofrecen espacios seguros en donde las personas podemos expresarnos sin miedo al juicio, redes de contención emocional que nos ayudan a reducir el estrés y la soledad, modelos positivos que inspiran resiliencia y autoaceptación, acceso a recursos como terapia afirmativa, orientación legal y educación sobre derechos. Crear comunidad también salva vidas. Tener acceso a una comunidad que acepta, escucha y defiende puede marcar la diferencia entre el sufrimiento silencioso y una vida plena. Incluso, gestos simples como decir estoy contigo o te veo pueden tener un impacto profundo.
Opioides. Lo que debes saber. Cada día, miles de personas en Estados Unidos sufren por crisis de opioides.
¿Pero?
¿Qué son?
Porque son muy peligrosos.
Son medicamentos para el dolor, como la morfina y la oxicodona. Pero también incluyen drogas ilegales, como la heroína
y el fentanilo.
El problema es que los opioides pueden causar dependencia y sobredosis. Solo una pequeña cantidad de fentanilo puede ser mortal. pero la naloxona puede revertir una sobredosis y puede salvar vidas. Si conoces a alguien con ese riesgo, busca ayuda. La educación y el apoyo son claves para enfrentar esta crisis. Comparte este mensaje y ayuda a salvar vidas.
A todos nos ha pasado. Estás en una fiesta, alguien te ofrece algo y de repente tienes que decidir. Vamos, solo una vez, no pasa nada. Nah, estoy bien. No necesito eso para pasarla bien. No tienes que dar explicaciones. Un simple no, gracias, es suficiente. Y si insisten, cambia el tema o aléjalo. La verdad es que la gente respeta más a quien sabe lo que quiere. No necesitas drogas para encajar. Haz lo que te haga sentir bien, sin presiones. Al final del día, la mejor decisión es la que te cuida.
Este video es gracias a la colaboración del Community Health Worker Coalition for Migrants and Refugees y Friends for Life.
Okay, welcome back, everybody, to Voces Unidas. Today, right now, we are with Tuere Cunningham. Someone who will see with us. Another round of applause. And this will be Tuere. This will be lots of applause today. Well, yeah, today we were interviewing Tuere Cunningham on the work that she's done, not just for the coalition, but in general and everything like that. We're just about wrapping up this radio show. But before we go and lead on to anything else, I want to remind you, please, if you don't already, feel free to follow us on Facebook at Community Health Workers Coalition for Migrants and Refugees. And I want to reiterate what I had said before. Oh, and also our YouTube as well, CHW Coalition for Migrants and Refugees, or CHW CMR. Before we close off the show, I want to reiterate what I had said previously about where you can connect with Tuere. For those of you who would like to reach out to her for any design work that you might need or any projects that you're looking into. So if you want to see her portfolio, feel free to go to tuerecunningham.wixstudio.com/tcreates. And for an easier way to get to this website that's displayed on the screen right now, you can connect with her on LinkedIn at tuerec, and they'll have a link on her profile directly to her portfolio website. Like I said before, you can see all of the work that she's done through her portfolio, all of the projects that she's worked on previously, videography, illustrations, and things like that. She really is very impressive in everything that she does with these designs. So yeah, highly recommend working with Tuere because she's very professional, always making sure that she goes above and beyond with her illustrations and her designs. Now that we're reaching the end of the radio show, I want to ask you, Tuere, is there anything that you would like to share or say to not just the viewers, but anybody who's trying to get into the work that you do, but feels a little nervous about doing it? Anything that you want to close off with before we go?
Yeah, so I feel like it's definitely possible for anybody who wants to get into graphic design, illustration work, any visual identity work. It's definitely possible. You can definitely do it. If you needed that encouragement, let me be that encouragement for you. You can do it. And many people think that it requires like a a college degree and all of that. Yes, I was blessed to be able to get my bachelor's in art, but it's still possible for even those who do not have a bachelor's in art or do not have a bachelor's. You can still get it. There are so many like resources online. There's so many YouTube videos. There are so many software that can be found that are, you don't have to pay for them. There's so many opportunities. So like all you have to do, just look for them, make a Google search, make that step like you said, Antonio, use Canva. And like it's you could use that too. That's also a resource. Using that is still graphic design, still making visual identity, putting your voice out there. So like I fully encourage it. You can do it. I'm not high on any pedestal. I recently recently got fully into doing more serious graphic design work and doing contract work and all of that. I'm still kind of a noob, and I have a lot of learning to do still. So yeah, it's possible. You can do this. You got this. But yeah, other than that, I appreciate you, Antonio, for being here and for interviewing me. I appreciate CHW for all the work that I was able to do and for being so amazing, and inviting me onto the team to be able to contribute my design work. So yeah, I'm just really grateful.
Thank you so much, Tuere. Those are
Yeah.
inspiring words of encouragement. Everybody can start from somewhere, like you said. So yeah, start off on Canva, keep improving. You'll be able to reach Tuere one day with her design and everything like that. And I can speak on behalf of the team as well that we're just very grateful to have been able to work with you and continue to work with you. I'm sure that we'll be able to also see the progress that you make. Maybe a year out, we'll be like, okay, Tuere started with Friends for Life. Now this is her latest design for this new program that we have. Look at how far that she's advanced in this year that she's been working with us. I speak for the rest of the team when I say that we're all very, very grateful to be able to work with you, and we can't wait to see the work you do, not just for us, but also in your personal life as well. Any designs that you're doing, any other projects you're doing outside of the coalition. We're excited to see you grow and improve as time goes on. But yeah, thank you so much, Tuere, again. We hope to be able to continue to work with you with so much more in the future. But yeah, thank you to the viewers who have taken the time to listen and be here for Tuere's radio interview. We're grateful to have you all so involved here with us. And again, shout out to Tuere's family. Shout out to Tanika. You're all amazing, and your daughter does amazing work. I hope you're very proud. But yes, with that being said, thank you again, Tuere, for being here. And to the viewers, I hope that you will catch us on our next radio interview next week. So thank you, Tuere.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Of course. Bye.